The key is to not prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. And this is the biggest thing that we need to keep in mind. And by the way, I didn't come up with that. It was Stephen Covey. So today, welcome to day 4. And you guessed it, we're talking about productivity and the productivity hacks as entrepreneurs. Now, this is day 4 of the Confident CEO journey. This is a 30-day series, and I am so happy that you're here because, by the way, my favorite conversation to really have. I am a planner hoarder, by the way. I love planners, digital, paper, you name it. I've been using a planner since forever. And the one thing that I have found is that having a planner and not writing on it or writing on it, but then not following through can really be the downfall of many of us. Entrepreneurs, student, teachers, whoever, you name it, right? Today, we're going to be covering some of the very key components of productivity, but we're also going to be talking about the things that really, if you dig deep, will help you. And these are some of the things that I personally use, or some of the things that I use with my clients, and you will see a difference. Now, why don't traditional productivity things always work? Well, they don't underscore or they don't address the underlying things, which is habits and the emotional intelligence that we may have. And by the way, I hate not thinking that I am not emotionally intelligent, but that's the bottom line. Sometimes we kind of dig our feet in and we're like, oh, I don't feel like doing that. Yeah, that's not being emotionally intelligent. Having the discipline at times is going to be really key. But what's most important are our habits. We also burn ourselves out. We feel anxious. And then it's because, and hey, I'm raising my hand. I do this all the time. I don't sleep well at times. I prioritize my self care. I don't prioritize my self care, rather. And again, we have decision fatigue. We end up having way too many competing priorities. So, this is one of the things that contributes to us not being productive and why the productivity tips that you hear everywhere are not going to work. So keep that in mind and do a self assessment. Now, distractions, 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 they're all there. We all have them, but you need to make sure that you manage your distractions in a way so that you can really focus on what matters, right? We have noise interruptions, we have people interruptions, we have dog interruptions. They're down there wanting to have dinner already. They're already talking to me. Make sure that you really set the threshold, right? Tell people, hey, I'm going to be working on, or create specific pockets of time that you are going to focus on what is important. You know, we get email notifications. We also have the dinging here and there. I have all my dingers off. Why? Because I don't need any oh shiny to pull me away from what I'm doing. I do a very good job just distracting myself. So it's very important not to allow other things to distract me. You know, it takes 17 minutes to go back to the attention level that you had before you were distracted. So if you're trying to get something done and you're allowing distractions to ding here, ding there, you're talking to this person, you're looking at your phone, all of that is going to make you less productive. So stop thinking that you can multitask. Multitasking is the biggest misconception in the world. And I remember, and I kind of laugh at myself because I used to think I am a great multitasker. I used to be on the phone with people, typing an email and doing something else. And I thought, oh my God, look at me, how great I was. But what I was doing really is I was switch tasking from task to task to task, and I was draining my energy. And I can fall back into those patterns because that's a habit, by the way. But for you, I want you to know that multitasking is going to split your focus and can lower the quality of the work that you do. So you're not going to have clarity if you continue to think that you can do multiple things at once. Now, there are some things that I really love, and there's one thing that I've discovered, and I use it for myself. Let me think, this is the first full year, year and a half now that I've been using it. It has really transformed me, my business, and that of the clients that I work with. This is the framework that I teach my clients. And by the way, I didn't come up with it. Two other brilliant guys came up with it, but it really does make a difference. What am I talking about? Julie, I want to know what is this great thing? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Leverage the 12-week year for focus execution of your goals. What is the 12-week year? Simple. It's this book. Oh my gosh. This is one of the best things that has happened to me. And the authors of the book, Brian Moran and Michael Lennington, right? So cool. They decided that a lot of times, as they're looking at different individuals or companies and organizations not achieve their goals, is because we set goals for the year really, really, really big. And the reality is that there's so many different things that happen throughout that we get, again, we're not achieving our goals because there's so many different things that are coming up. Now, let me tell you about the 12-week year. Rather than breaking down your year into quarters, breaking it down into 12 weeks allows you to create these more manageable goals. And also, it allows you to really be able to check for progress. The key components of the 12-week year is that you're not only going to create these goals, but you're also going to create the tactics, the actions that support and get you closer to these goals. The other component is that you're going to double check. Hey, I said I need to be doing this every day in order to fill in a blank, right? So if you're talking about getting healthy and maybe going to the gym, maybe your goal is going to the gym. Well, that's not a very specific goal. So you need to make sure first that you have SMART goals. Second, be very concise. I want to be able to run a mile, right? Maybe you've never run a mile. Maybe you're like a couch potato, like many of us, right? So then you decide, what is it going to take to be able to run a mile, or let's say a 5K by the end of 12 weeks? Well, it's going to take for you to maybe walk every day. And if you're going to walk every day, you start and you set it up on your calendar, the day, the time that you're going to be walking. Again, that's a priority that you're scheduling, right? Then you go in and at the end of the week, you measure for progress. Did I do the thing that I was supposed to do? Did I walk every day? Why or why not? And then you evaluate and then you adjust as needed. So, I have a guide that I use with my clients. I would love to share that with you. So leave 12-week year in the comments and I'll share it with you. If you're listening to this on the podcast, then definitely you can email me at Julie at Go Confidently Coaching, and I will send you the little spreadsheet that I use to not only set my goals, break down my 12-week plan, and then how I go back and I double check my 12-week plan. This is, again, incredibly important. And guess what? If you fall off the wagon because you haven't created this habit of working out or consistently doing whatever action that supports your goals, you can start again. You don't have to wait for the quarter to start again. You can recalibrate and begin now. That is one of the things that is going to help you. Now, of course, as a tiny habits coach, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about tiny habits. If you read the book Atomic Habits, Dr. BJ Fogg is the behavioral scientist that had all the research that is in the Atomic Habits and some of the other habit books. This is his book. And the one reason I love tiny habits is because we cannot eat an elephant in one bite. We have to break it down. And for many of us, we're trying to rely on motivation to get something done. But when the motivation leaves, then we don't do it. We want to go big or go home. So, tiny habits will help you create small, manageable things that you can then celebrate, give yourself credit for, and will allow you to continue to stay consistent with the action that will get you closer to your goals. If you want to learn the tiny habits framework, I love talking about this. I love sharing this on my website. If you go at goconfidentlycoaching.com/quick links, you will see that there is a free coaching program. I'm not trying to sell you anything, neither is a Tiny Habits Academy, but we love to coach individuals. And by the way, we have a 96% rate of success that people have said to us that after doing the program, they're able to create habits that are sustainable. Okay. Now that you know about the 12-week year, now that you know that you need to really be able to prioritize your goal, and you know that there's no such thing as multitasking, right? I want you to think of the things that you need to prioritize in order to move the needle, right? Because there's so many different things as entrepreneurs that we can do. But the reality and the question you should be asking yourself is this moving my needle? Is it moving your needle? If you have a goal and then you've decided that you're going to do action one, two, three, but it's not moving your needle, then why would you even spend time on that? So organize your task by importance, by urgency. Focus on the most important tasks. First, it is very important to make a list, and this is one of the best ways to do it. Not just, start numbering one, two, three. Don't do that. Just dump all that's in your brain and write all of the possible things that you could be doing, the actions, the things that you need to do to achieve that goal. So if you want to run a 5K, well, what do you need to do? I need to shop for clothes so I can have clothes to work out. I need to go ahead and set my alarm clock so that I can get to the gym. I need to make sure that I stretch. I want to make sure that I find a plan or I work with a trainer. Whatever it is, dump it all out on a piece of paper and then scratch out the things that are not important because it's not a priority. So shopping for clothes to work out in, that may not be a priority, my friend. So think about that realistically. One of the things that I love to use is the Eisenhower method. And if you don't know what the Eisenhower method is, it is something that basically, all right, I'm going to do it here. And again, if you're on the podcast, you can Google Eisenhower method, but think of a square, right? And then you break the square into four things. Now, you're going to, on the top right-hand corner, no, top left-hand corner, top left-hand corner. I don't know my left and my right if I'm on camera. Okay. So on the top left-hand corner, you're going to write all of the things that require low effort and are important. The second top square, which is the right square, you're going to write the things that are important but require high amount of effort, right? And then in the bottom square on the left, you're going to write the things that are not important and don't require a lot of effort. And on the bottom right, you're going to write the things that are really hard and require and that are not important, right? So then you're going to be able to see, where do these things fall? What categories do the task fall into? And by the way, do what you do best. Delegate the rest. If you are working on a task that somebody else can do that they're better at, give it away. Give it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away. Okay. So avoid burnout, prioritize, set a timer. If you haven't used the Pomodoro method, by the way, and I know that I'm covering a lot of different things in this podcast right now. Pomodoro method is another way in which I use to be able to do my task. What is it? Is I set a timer for 15, 20 minutes, and I actually have a Google Chrome extension called Momentum. And I heard about this from Ali Abdal. If you know him or don't know him, you got to follow him. He's fantastic. But basically, the momentum, I can tell it, hey, stash my tabs, because I always have 100 million tabs open on my computer, but then it will stash them. And then I can hit the thing in my little Pomodoro cycle, which is a 20-minute period of time. And I begin to work diligently on that task and get as much done of it as possible in those 20 minutes. When my timer finishes, then I kind of take a break, I take a breath, I go drink some water, and then I begin again. And that's how I'm breaking down my task into manageable steps. The other thing that you can do is use your calendar. I don't understand people that don't use calendars. Our phones have them, our emails have them. Really leverage that. And by the way, a great thing to do with your calendar is to color code things. I like the color coding because I can see it better. I guess I'm visual. It drives Dean crazy. But for me, at a glance, I can see, oh, these are personal things. Oh, I have a lot of those things going on today. And it really helps you to really understand. Um, Momentum, tiny habits, the 12-week year. There's other things that you can use. If you like to check things off, you can download an app like Habit Bull so that if you're trying to create a habit and be consistent, you can just check off everything that you're doing. So I've given you a lot. I know there's a lot that you're going to have to come back and listen to again. I have some content on all of this across all of my social media, but if you're questioning something, you can always leave me a comment here. And I can definitely give you more resources. I will write these in the show notes as well so that you can tune in. Now, you know someone that needs help in being more productive. Share this or let's discuss. What do you use as a productivity hack that helps you build more confidence so that you can continue to go in this CEO journey? I'm so happy that you're here, my friend. And tomorrow for day 5, ooh, I have a good one. You're going to want to tune in. This is when we start to talk about personal brand. So tune in tomorrow for day 5. If you haven't seen the other or heard the other episodes, go tune in. Those are really awesome as well. Until next time, I'm Julie, and don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.